Over in the pages of Batman, it can be really frustrated to read the same character week after week with so many of the same elements. Usually, Batman, also known as Bruce Wayne, is fighting some sort of crime, being helped out alongside various members of the Batman family, and kind of waging a war on the seedier side of Gotham. And when the new creative team, including writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Jorge Jiménez, boarded this new run on Batman, I initially thought they were going to make the same mistakes as their peers. Thankfully, when their arc called Failsafe got towards the end of the story, we learned of a few new plot elements that really shook things up and gave a psychological edge that was much needed to the run. Today, we're going to go ahead and look at a brand new arc of Chip Zdarsky's Batman and see if Chip Zdarsky and artist Mike Hawthorne are able to continue to deliver on the fascinating premise behind their new Batman run. My name is Arco Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and take a look at Batman 131 to see just how crazy this series can get. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy our content. And why not go ahead and hit that like button since you're already here? And I want to go ahead and introduce the solicitation text from DC to get you caught up to speed on everything that's happened behind the scenes of The Dark Knight. The Batman of Gotham, Part 1, The Toy Box, Part 1. Gotham City has never been darker or deadlier, and after Failsafe, there is no Batman to save it. Can the fractured ghost that roams the streets survive? Whatever happened to the man known as Bruce Wayne? And I want to introduce our creative team on the series. This issue is written by Chip Zdarsky, illustrated by Mike Hawthorne. We have colors from Tomeu Morey, and the issue is inked by Adriano Di Benedetto, and we have letters from Clayton Cowles. And I want to go ahead and show off this issue's cover illustrated by Jorge Jiménez right now. Here's a look at the gorgeous cover for Batman 131. And I think this is a super intriguing cover because it actually teases some of the plot elements that readers are going to find within the issue itself. When Batman ended up fighting Failsafe in the previous issue 130, there was a really climactic ending that was a massive curveball and I thought was going to lead to a much different plot direction. But that plot direction is actually directly realized through the cover of this issue. And I think that this piece from Jimenez is a little bit different than what we usually see from him. There's kind of really interesting colors, shading, and even an interesting outline for Bruce Wayne himself. I really liked all of the chances that Jimenez is taking on this cover, and I want to see some of these chances also come through on Jorge Jimenez interior art as well in the next issue that we do see Jorge Jimenez's work in. And next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the preview of the issue. And I want to give a big thanks to Newsarama for providing this preview of the issue. It's unlettered, which is actually interesting because that way we can get a closer look at some of the gorgeous art in the issue from Mike Hawthorne. Mike Hawthorne is an unconventional Batman artist, but in the best sort of way. I love Hawthorne's like really bombastic facial expressions and just kind of the way the issue is drawn as a whole. The colors from Tomeu Morey, I think, really help evoke, some of the expressions and feeling throughout the issue. And when I was reading this issue, I think there were numerous points where I really felt like Chip Zdarsky was lending some sort of humor to the issue, but Mike Hawthorne was helping kind of punctuate it. And I really liked all of the ways that Zdarsky and Hawthorne sort of mix up comic book continuity throughout this issue. It was really a joy to kind of get another kind of head scratcher issue. I really thought that Zdarsky and Hawthorne were going to go back to basics and start to maybe flesh out the rest of the Batman supporting cast. But I'm really happy to see that instead of getting an issue or an arc of the entire series focused around, fleshing out yet another team, that we're just going in a completely different and insane direction. I don't want to give the plot away for this issue because I want you to experience it for yourself. I finally feel like we have sort of a new direction for Batman to go in. And I think that's part of the reason why I've been so fatigued with this character is there hasn't been a clever idea or sense of distinction to kind of set it apart from some of its contemporaries. I think in the failsafe arc of Batman, there's been some little, senses and elements of humor, but I think that this issue in particular, this Batman 131, is able to lean deeper into the sense of humor than I've seen Zdarsky go in previous issues. And also, this new kind of idea and this new setting and locale for Bruce Wayne really needs to be explored and fleshed out further. I feel that this is probably the single strongest issue of the series yet for just how ambitious and how adventurous it goes. And I want to see even more Batman mythology inverted and turned on its head. And I really like kind of the pacing that this second storyline brought into the issue. The second story is called The Toy Box Part 1. It's written by Chip Zdarsky, illustrated by Miguel Mendonca. We have colors from Roman Stevens and letters from Clayton Cowles. And this preview even includes some pages from this toy box story. So let me go ahead and explain kind of what the kind of context behind this story is. Essentially, we get a really good look at Tim Drake and Jonathan Kent, trying to pick up the pieces and keep Gotham safe while Batman is on this really strange new direction in his life. And it's so good to kind of get that sense that Gotham is a living, breathing city. Even though Bruce Wayne is not currently in Gotham, that there's still some idea that sort of connects this book to the greater landscape over on DC Comics. And I did like how this story just kind of it didn't get too far into the main plot of the series because it's only the first chapter of the toy box, but it did such a good job kind of having such a wide scope and kind of introducing several Batman ideas into the mix. So those are some of my thoughts on Chip Zdarsky and Mike Hawthorne's Batman 131. I think there's so many great parts of this issue, and I'm so happy that this creative team is continuing to adventure into the unknown of Batman and really give an ambitious new setting and locale for the character. I want to know from you, do you think this new kind of era in Batman's life is as intoxicating as I do? Do you enjoy the kind of weird and unfocused direction that can lead Batman to new story ideas? I want to know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for taking a look at the video today, and we're going to be back really soon here for more excellent comic book content. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.